So let me get this right. To Jesse and all of his listeners right now, let me make an announcement. So to Jesse, Martin Luther King is a zero, but Donald Trump is the great white hope. You are a moron, Jesse. You're a moron and you are brainwashed. Don't Brian me. You're a moron is what you are. And I can't wait to post this on social media to show everybody what an idiot you actually are. Martin Luther King is a zero, but Donald Trump is the great white hope. You are an imbecile, and you are Donald Trump's base. Extremely stupid people. You have an IQ of like 20.
Okay, so I need you to stop whatever you're doing right now, because I promise you, in all the years of watching interview content on the internet, I have never seen anything quite like what you're about to watch. The host loses control so badly that by the end, he's calling his own guests an imbecile on live television. And the wildest part? The guest stays completely calm the whole time. That calmness alone is what makes the host spiral harder and harder. So watch carefully and notice who stays composed and who completely falls apart, because that detail changes everything.
Was it racism, Brian?
When did it happen? Tell me the context of what you're talking about. Answer my question and then I'll answer yours. When did it happen?
Brian, when slavery was in existence.
It didn't happen.
Yes, it did.
It didn't happen. You have no idea what you're talking about.
I know for a fact. Was it racism, Brian?
So black people were responsible for slavery. Yeah, that's a very intelligent take.
No, it was the Arabs. There was the Arabs who went over to Africa, Brian. It was the Arabs who went over to Africa and bought the black people from other black people in Africa, and the Arabs sold them across the country to Mexico, to United States, and to other places.
Jesse,
so it wasn't what you're saying.
First of all, Jesse, Arabs are not black people. Just got to give you a heads up on that one.
But
because
they're the one that sold the blacks.
Okay, you just said black people own slaves.
There were black people in America who owned slaves, Bernie.
Okay, so you're saying racism doesn't exist. Is that the point you're trying to make?
No,
you don't think racism exists in this country?
And without a doubt, there's no such thing as racism.
I feel like you're the black version of Alex Jones. I feel like that's who I'm talking to right now. I feel like you are out of your mind. I know you've had some health issues, and I'm trying to be respectful, but this is the most ridiculous interview I've ever had. No, I'm sorry about your health issues. I really do, and I feel for you.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I have no idea what you're talking about. But Brian, hold on.
There's something. There's something wrong with you. You're saying racism doesn't exist.
Well,
you think women belong in the
health
kitchen.
issue. You put a lie out there. I don't have any health issue. Now, if you're saying that I'm saying this because I'm black and slow, that's a different thing.
It has nothing to do with the color of your skin. I just think that you're extremely ill-informed. You say things that are absolutely batshit crazy, like racism doesn't exist.
It doesn't.
Even the most. Okay, so what's the Klan then? What's the Ku Klux Klan?
And you know what?
What's the Ku Klux Klan?
Right.
What's the Ku Klux Klan?
Let me tell you, I got more proof.
What's the Ku Klux Klan?
Hold on.
Answer my question.
All right, so let's just pause here for a second, because this part is genuinely one of the most chaotic moments in this entire clip, and I need to break down exactly what just happened. So Brian asks Jesse point blank about the KKK. Simple question, right? And instead of just answering it directly, Jesse goes into this whole historical explanation about political power and black congressmen and senators rising in government. Now, whether you agree with that take or not, that's a separate conversation. But here's what's actually funny about this moment. Brian is so frustrated that he can't even process the answer properly. He just keeps repeating the same question over and over like he's stuck in a loop. And then comes the hate crime part. Brian tries to explain very clearly and very patiently what a hate crime legally means. He literally breaks it down step by step. And Jesse comes back with, when's the last time you've seen a love crime? Now look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that's a smart argument, but I will say this, that line completely broke Brian's brain. You could actually hear the moment Brian just gave up trying to have a logical conversation. The man went from trying to educate to just pure frustration in about 30 seconds, flat. And the wildest part is Jesse didn't even seem to notice. He just kept going like nothing happened.
What's the Ku Klux Klan?
Let me respond to your first question. I grew up in Alabama on a plantation. Did you know that?
No. What's the Ku Klux Klan?
I grew up on a plantation under the Jim Crow laws, and I remember color only, white only, but it had nothing to do with racism.
Okay. Tell me what the Ku Klux Klan is. What is that group?
They started out trying to stop blacks from, they kept them out of the Democratic Party for sure. And
okay,
then
I didn't ask you about the Democrat Party.
They kept them out of the Democratic Party, and then the blacks and some other whites got together and they started the Republican Party, and the Klan got mad because the blacks were rising in power in the government. They were like congressmen and senators and things like that. And so the KKK tried to stop them for political reasons, not because of their color. But Brian, because of time, I'm gonna have to move on here.
So hold on, the Ku Klux. So hold on, just for the record, the Ku Klux Klan is not a racist organization. Is that what you're saying?
No, racism doesn't
I mean,
exist.
this is just the dumb.
Our battle.
I mean, what are we?
Our battle is a
doing
spiritual battle, Brian. It's a battle between good and evil. It has nothing to do with color. But I gotta ask you one thing about the civil rights movement. You brought that up. Did you
want to talk to me about the civil rights movement, and you're not even willing to admit the Ku Klux Klan is a racist organization? You might be the most ignorant person that's ever interviewed.
But how can they be racist when racism doesn't exist?
Because they've literally murdered people because of the color of their skin, and it's not my fault. You're too stupid to understand that.
There's no proof that they murdered people because of the color of the skin.
Yes, there is. There are people in jail right now. There are people in jail right now that have committed hate crimes, that have killed and murdered people back in the 60s and 70s.
It was because of hate.
You have no idea what you're talking about.
It was because of hate, not because of color.
A hate crime. Do you understand the definition of what a hate crime is? You don't even know what that means, do you?
Crimes.
No, all crimes are not hate crimes.
When the last time you seen a love crime?
Will you listen? There's a category in our laws that say if you kill somebody and murder somebody because of their religion or the color of their skin, it is a harsher punishment. You don't even know what the definition of a hate crime is.
When the last time you seen a love crime?
Did you not listen to what I just said?
I understand what you said, but I don't agree with that.
There are different, it doesn't matter whether you agree with it or not. It's in our court system. Don't you listen?
Right.
There are different categories of murder. No, just listen. I'm trying to educate you on one thing in this whole interview. Please listen. When you commit something called a hate crime and you're convicted, it means you murdered somebody because of race or sexual orientation. It is a separate category from just a first-degree murder. It's a harsher punishment. How is it possible that you do a talk show and you don't even know what a hate crime is?
All crime are hate crime. There's no such thing as love crime.
All right. Okay, but whatever Brian, you say, Jesse, let's get this over
about the civil rights movement. Did you know that the civil rights movement was the worst thing that ever happened to the blacks and to the country? Other than it was worse. The only worst thing other than that was abortion. But did you know that the civil rights movement was the worst thing that ever happened to the blacks?
I feel like I'm talking to the black version of Charlie Kirk right now. No, that's not true, sir. And there's many African Americans that would disagree with you on the civil rights movement. And Martin Luther King being a hero. You guys were in the back of buses.
Martin King is not a hero. Martin Luther King is a zero.
You guys. Okay, well, you're an asshole. You're an asshole for saying that. You're an idiot. Well, you can laugh all you want. You're not a serious person.
Why are you calling Martin Luther?
Guess what? You're a zero. You're a buffoon. You have me come on your show and you're going to insult Martin Luther King and you're going to call Martin Luther King a zero. He died so that like you could do shows like this. He died so that you have the freedom.
That's not true.
Oh, please. You are such a buffoon. It's an embarrassment that I even agreed to do this show.
That whole civil rights movement was about taking over the hearts and minds of the blacks.
So let me get this right. To Jesse and all of his listeners right now, let me make an announcement. So to Jesse, Martin Luther King is a zero, but Donald Trump is the great white hope. You are a moron, Jesse. You're a moron and you are brainwashed. Don't Brian me. You're a moron is what you are. And I can't wait to post this on social media to show everybody what an idiot you actually are. Martin Luther King is a zero, but Donald Trump is the great white hope. You are an imbecile and you are Donald Trump's base. Extremely stupid people. You have an IQ of like 20.
Brian.
You're an imbecile.
And that woman, Coretta Scott King, I think her name. No, not Coretta King. When they got on the bus. Oh my God.
How do people work for this guy? How do you guys work for this guy?
So now that you've seen the whole thing, I want to say something that might actually surprise you. The most revealing part of this interview isn't even the arguments themselves. It's the reactions. Because think about it. Brian came into this interview as the host. He's supposed to be in control of the conversation. He's supposed to be the one guiding things. But by the end, he's name-calling, he's losing his temper, he's telling his own production staff he can't believe he agreed to do this show. And Jesse is just sitting there laughing. Now, I'm not here to tell you who's right or who's wrong on the actual topics they discuss, because honestly, that's a whole separate debate, and the comments section exists for exactly that reason. What I will say is this. The moment you let someone get completely under your skin to the point where you forget you're on camera, you've already lost. Doesn't matter what the topic is. Doesn't matter how good your points are. The second the emotions take over, the argument is over. And Brian learned that lesson the hard way today. Anyway, drop your thoughts down below because I genuinely want to know what you guys think about this one. And if you found this interesting, share it because conversations like this one are exactly what this channel is about.